Hi, it's Kamon Reynolds. In this video, we're going to take a double deep strong colony and put it in this nice horizontal hive. We could have stuck a nuke or a package, but I really, it's always like the next year, and sometimes I just want a little instant gratification. So we're going to try to do that this year, and I want to say a big thank you to Ricky Rorick and his wife. They donated this horizontal hive so we could do it. They knew I would probably never get around to finishing mine, and they were right. It's hard sometimes to get those side projects going, so I'm going to leave a link to his YouTube channel and also to his website where you can actually buy these if you're interested in something that's going to help you not have to bend all the way over. And it'll be really interesting to see. Hopefully we'll get a bunch of honey from this colony this year. So we swiped this colony from another one. Another location, it's just right over there. You can probably see all of those bees in the air, kind of where that single hive is on that two-way pallet. And so, of course, all the forager bees, we're going to lose those. But the one that's in the dome above that double deep, that's got the double screen board and that plastic dome on it, it's big enough, it's going to drop down in that location and pick up all the foragers. And so it'll strengthen that colony. This colony will lose its foragers, but it'll only be for a little while, and we're not to the honey flow quite yet. So we're not going to lose anything. The bees will just, it'll take them a day or two to kind of figure it out. So what I want to do is I'm going to keep all of the brood on the left-hand side. I'm also contemplating drilling a hole on the side. He's got different models, but this is the one that I like. Oh, there's the queen right there, doggone it. I tell you what, some days you're just hot. And it's pretty warm today. Nice blue dot queen right there, and we are definitely going to stick this nice bee bread frame, poor girl's just looking for room, right here. And that's kind of what you want. This was a frame of honey, this is a frame of bee bread, so that's a natural way to have the brood nest. So this is going to set the edge right here while the honey frame's over here. And now let's just start finding that brood, and I'll show you kind of how I'd like to set it up. So we have bunches of eggs over here and bee bread. Just going to set this to the side. The main thing right now I'm wanting to do is ensure that the queen has plenty of room to lay, because we're in swarm season. We're really having a hard time keeping up with all the colonies, and she's just laid this up full of eggs as the bees are emerging out of this. So it isn't too bad of a frame, because some of that brood is still emerging. One thing you'll notice that I give an occasional bit of smoke, blocking those pheromones exchanges, the alarm pheromone, and keeping those guard bees down. And wow, there's just eggs all in that. So the eggs, I'm going to keep that a little more to the edge. I'd like to see really like to see some capped brood that's emerging to stick right next to her. It doesn't have to be perfect though. I could stick it to her like that, just like it is. Wow, she's just laying this stuff up. Mixture of capped brood and eggs. Alright, nice frame of brood right here. They're capping a lot of this. Gorgeous. So again, we're just wanting to put a big colony in here so that we hopefully get to see them do some really great things this year. And go into winter, we'll make a split off of them, I'm sure, and then we will see how they go through winter. I'm sure they'll go through just fine if they have a great queen, dead mites, and good nutrition. We have a big queen cup here, but it is dry. But you can definitely tell. Come over here just real quick. I can show it to you, I guess. But you can see kind of how this cell is built. It's softer right here. They're building them off of them a little bit. And it's just, they're a little bit bigger than usual. They're in the mode. I don't know how many colonies we have that are starting to want to swarm. So right now I don't have everything really organized. I'm just kind of seeing what's available. I'm confident that is a frame of food. I can see it on this side glistening. All that nice open nectar and whatnot. And we are getting a trickle of nectar right now from the red buds and a few other odds and ends. Let's see what kind of brood we have down in here. That one looks like it's got a lot of capped brood in it. And it does. And this is emerging, yes. This is what we want to get close to that queen right here. So we're going to stick this on down in here, and she's just right on this frame. So as that's emerging, it's just going to be right there for her. And let's see what we have here. Kind of a Mod Podge, a lot of bee bread, a lot of capped brood, a little bit of young stuff. Just stick it in here. We definitely don't want to be separating the brood out a lot. We're still getting nights that get around freezing and sometimes even drop below freezing this time of the year. More brood in a younger, pretty young stage. They're just starting to cap some of this. Some of it already is capped. So it's going to be a while still. And you know, she can move around through this pretty quickly. But I just like to always give her at least 1 or 2 frames that are really ideal for her. Keep that swarm tendency down. I don't know if I mentioned this, but we have pulled frames of brood from this colony already this year. Can you see that larvae down in there? I don't know how good the lighting is, but it is just gorgeous and glistening with all that jelly they're putting around the young larvae. And of course, we're losing a lot of forager bees. Yes, just tons of larvae down in there. This queen's really getting it done. I'm going to see if I can find one more ideal frame. And our cutback of this colony was really good. This is pretty much dry right here. You know what? As strong as this colony is, in this time of the year, the forecast looks wonderful. Just average temperatures, 70s at least. And that's pretty normal for us. So I'm just going to throw that one empty drawn comb right there. So she's got most of the emerging brood over towards her. That one drawn comb. If we were getting some really cold temperatures, like averages in the 50s during the day, wouldn't do that. Some people still say don't do that. You know, I do a lot of things people say not to do, but you know, here I am, for better or worse. Laurel and I were just talking about that before. Did we ever think it was going to escalate to this point? No, but then again, it's kind of fun. Just try to hang on for dear life, you know. Alright, we're almost there. And wow, there is larvae down in here and some emerging brood, and ow, 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 ow. Woo! Gorgeous little stinger. Nice. It's been about a week. The last 2 stings have been in videos. Not off to a great start this year. Those really close to the fingernails, you know, they have these techniques out there that, you know, you get really cold and they jump in the ice and they say it's really invigorating, makes you feel alive. That's because you almost die, and you know, that makes you appreciate things. Well, this right here is second to that. You really feel alive. You're not dying, but it kind of feels like it. I'm screaming inside. So we saw the queen. We got a nice frame with tons of bee bread here and some honey. And the reason I got stung there is because I pinched a bee on accident. That's typically how I get stung. All right. What a gorgeous hive this is going to be. Now imagine if it had all of its forager bees. It would be quite a bit larger. I don't know how many frames worth of forager bees we have in the field today, but it's quite a bit. All right, so we're just going to throw all this in there. Then we're going to throw some more drawn combs. Nice frame of bee bread. That's just excellent. And let's see here. So we've got a couple of these division boards, and these are nice. You can put this, say it's a winter cluster and your cluster's 8 frames, slide it down in there. That really helps them maintain that proper heat and air circulation and all that kind of stuff. Also, if you get fancy, he's got all kinds of systems. Shoot, he's got one that can handle flow hive frames and all kinds of stuff, and medium supers as well as deeps. A lot of different things that he has. I told him You know, my daddy always told me to kiss it, keep it simple, stupid. So that's the way I asked for this one. And it's nice and cut and dry, but this right here has an excluder on the bottom where the queen can't get through. And now we are going to take these honeycombs that were extracted out last year and just start putting a bunch of honeycombs in here. And hopefully we're going to get a big honey crop out of this colony right here. It'll be really interesting to follow this hive and see how it does. One of the things that will be a little bit interesting is to see how they do about just adjusting things. I have only fooled with a hive that was long like this between 2 buys one other time, and that was when I did a cutout many years ago, and it was in the floor joist of a second-story building, pressure treated boards, and that was one of the biggest hives I've ever seen. And I mean, they're just massive colony, and they seem to have no problem going long ways. It was longer than this, slightly narrower, and I thought I got enough honeycombs. I did not. Of course, I'll want to space these out a little bit. What I'm going to do is get one of those 9-frame spacers and put that in here, because I don't want them really tight like a 10-frame super. Whether you're using an uncapping knife or whatever system you're using, I'm using a Kamon Silver Queen, you want those frames to be about 9. You can go 9-frame spacing, like in a 10-frame deep and all that kind of stuff. And that way it's easy for the knives to go down and cut them. You can do an 8-frame and that setup or this setup, but the problem with that is with the Kamon Silver Queen is sometimes you get some brace comb between the combs, and as that goes through the knife, sometimes that can push the knives away from it and it doesn't actually cut deeper. It can cut too deep on one side and too shallow on the other, so it needs to be somewhat even. I prefer 9s in a 10-frame super. So thankfully we found our queen. Looks good. Looks like I'm going to have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Well, I'm probably going to have about 14 right in here. I think this holds 30 frames. Ricky can comment below and correct me on anything that I've done, but nice looking hive of bees right here. It's going to take them a little while to adjust. The nice thing about this type of a setup, I think more Americans and other beekeepers around the world should consider these type of hives. In some countries these are extremely popular because you're not having to pick up boxes. You know, this is it's harder for someone who's wanting to move bees around all the time, but if you're just wanting to keep bees in your backyard or maybe another yard or two, you could totally do this no problem. And now you're not picking up supers. You harvest your honey from over here and you just pull out frames one at a time. Not as efficient, but it's a whole lot easier on your body if you don't have the right tools. So we can close this up. It's nice and got this air barrier up here. It's vented. Laurel, let's take them around the front real quick. And also it's got these nice clamps so you don't have to worry about a wind coming through grabbing that lid and yanking it up. And it's got these nice, it's got vents. It's got this entrance here. The only thing I think I'm going to change is I'm going to probably put an entrance over here on the side, and that way if I want to, I might even put one on the other side. I could divide it up and have multiple colonies going into winter with this setup. I'm sure I have bee veil here, but anyways, oh, I forgot that comb down in there, Laurel. I'm slipping. I'm slipping. Nice calm bees though. Keep in mind again though, they're pretty calm because all the foragers are over that way, all those old bees, you know. Got mostly just the nurse bees now. Alright, move that over. This is going to be a lot of fun. So we'll check back here once the honey flow starts. It'll be cool to see. I hope we have a really nice honey flow year. The weather's acting really good so far. The bees look really nice. Best year we've ever had so far as the bees' condition. Well, that's good. This is a honey frame, so that's a great way to start and stop the brood nest. Honey frames on the edge, pollen, brood in the center. She should have plenty of room in this. And what we could do, you know, these are the things that are just running through my mind. Feel free to give me suggestions, but I like dropping all of my colonies down to single brood management once the honey flow kicks into gear. So what we could do is drop this colony down to about 10 or 11 frames, bring that on over, take these other frames right here, yank them out, and more than likely this is what I'll do. I'll bring more drawn combs if I have them, or I'll just drop some foundation here and get them to draw some deep foundations and get some new combs, and that would be really beautiful to see them draw some nice little combs. So anyways, thanks again, Ricky Rorick. Check him out below if you're at all interested in buying a horizontal hive, because I'm really pleased with the construction and the strength of this, and the pressure treated legs and all that. I'm going to shake all these bees in, and we're going to create a playlist for this. So if you want to just see videos on this specifically or anything like that, check out our playlist so you can find what you're looking for, not to hunt through all the videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.